Moving on now to the story taking over the nation, honoring President George H.W. Bush. New tributes to the life and legacy of George H.W. Bush are pouring in from his family, friends, and leaders around the world. All this as a touching photograph of the former president's service dog, Sully, lying next to his coffin is released, and America prepares to say goodbye to 41. For more on the life and legacy of George H.W. Bush, we turn now to DailyMail.com's editor-at-large, Piers Morgan. And Piers, in your opinion, what do we lose when we lose a leader like him?
You know, he was a pretty unique individual, Jesse. I think that George Herbert Walker Bush was somebody who brought a real sense of dignity and respect to the office of the presidency. And I think you could argue that President Bush was an exemplary pair of hands at very difficult times of crisis.
And Piers, he formed incredible friendships and bonds with Jimmy Carter, Bill Clinton, Barack and Michelle Obama. What does that say about the man that he was?
I think it says he was a man who believed in civility, in friendship not feuding, in talking to the opposition, in treating them with respect, in being bipartisan, and in trying to do deals across the aisle. And I think the message surely from his death is, can we not return to a more civil and respectful kind of politics? Because if we don't, where does it end?
One thing George H.W. Bush didn't like, the L word, legacy. But that's what many people are going to be talking about right now. When you look back at him, Piers, what do you think his legacy will be?
Well, it's really interesting, Jesse, because when he left, he only served one term. He was kicked out of office, very bad approval ratings. People called him a loser. They called him a wimp. But interestingly, as often happens in these cases, a bit like with Jimmy Carter, his legacy personally has grown over time. And I think George Herbert Walker Bush was somebody who left a stamp of decency on the office of the presidency and of the White House, which will stand its test of time for a very long time and ultimately will be his most enduring legacy.
Well, George H.W. Bush will join the rank of former presidents Abraham Lincoln, Ulysses S. Grant, Franklin Roosevelt, and Dwight Eisenhower, as he will be taken in a presidential funeral train to his final resting place. Piers Morgan, always a pleasure. Thank you.